Well, my name is Greg Shields. I'm with Concentrated Technology. That's concentratedtech.com. And I'm a senior partner with Concentrated Technology. What are we? We are essentially a source of knowledge and information for the IT pro. We see ourselves as kind of the analyst firm that's really in support of getting that knowledge out to the person out in the field, right? A lot of our customers are the different vendors that you might see on an expo floor at a Tech Ed or at a VMworld. Probably half the people that are in that expo floor have been customers of ours at one point or another. So we see ourselves, as I said, as just an organization who, through writing and through traveling to different conferences and also some training events as well, as helping the IT pro really develop the knowledge that they need. The session went remarkably well. In fact, so the way VMware handles the sessions here for VMworld is kind of interesting. You submit in your title and abstract, and then they have a public voting on it. So there's kind of a nerve-wracking process as the public goes and votes to see which sessions they want. Well, mine got chosen, and I was excited to find out that not only was it chosen, but they're repeating it 3 times. So there's one time this morning, another time this afternoon with full stage production, and then one more tomorrow. The room was packed. Everyone was really interested. I think at one point in the session I said, is anybody here to learn anything at all? And all the hands shut up. So that was a session on essentially the 16 biggest mistakes you can make with VMware, HA, and DRS, and how not to make them. It was a really good session. So my wife, as I was getting ready to leave to come here, she said, "You've been doing this for so long, Greg. What's it like, standing up there in front of all the people?" And so I got the great idea to actually take a picture of the audience. And so I stood up there and I said, "Look, guys, I've been doing this for I don't know how many years." I said, "But would you mind if I actually, took a picture of all of you?" And I said, "Do me a favor and look like you're actually interested in being here." So they all went, "Yay!" And I got a great picture of the entire audience from the presenter's view. And you can find that at concentratedtech.com. Sure. Let's see, what are conferences coming up? So upcoming is the Tech Mentor Conference, which is sponsored by 1105 Media. That's techmentorevents.com. That will be held here in Las Vegas at the Planet Hollywood Casino, October 10th through the 14th. A very different kind of conference than your Tech Ed or your VMworld. It's a more intimate feel to it, a lot fewer people. You don't ever feel like a number. We don't beep you into the session rooms, and there's a lot more direct interaction between an instructor and a student. So whereas here, my 3 sessions are 600 people, 1,000 people, and then I think 600 people again, Tech Mentor is a much smaller, like I said, you might have a room with 40 or 60 people in it. So it's definitely more interaction between the two. As Concentrated Technology is concerned, we are continuing the efforts that we've had with a lot of the different, as I said, the sponsors and the vendors that you would see on an expo floor. We work with them primarily because we see ourselves as the organization that can look at the different products that they put together and really analyze them with an eye towards what the IT pro needs. So there's a problem space, right? There's some sort of problem that you have in your environment, and you know that you have this problem. You might not be Googling the vendor who has the solution, but you know what the problem is. And so what we see ourselves is in helping you find the solution, still remaining vendor agnostic, but then assisting that from the perspective of the vendors as well. So it provides a real service to the industry because we try to remain independent all the time, so that the IT pro can look, they can go to white papers, they can go to training, they can go to little video vignettes or blog posts or however we deliver that content to get real unbiased information about how to move from problem to solution. I get asked this question all the time also. And part of it is based off of what I think is the incorrect belief that if you're not sitting and touching it every day, that you don't know it. So from a very high level perspective, so if you kind of look at IT from the 20 million feet perspective, nothing ever really changes, right? There are new approaches to things. There are new products for things. There are new buttons to flip or whatever. But the way in which IT works is kind of, and again, from the, not even the 20,000 foot, but the 20 million foot perspective, the way IT kind of works is really kind of the same way it's worked for a long period of time. So large global shifts don't happen that often. The other and I guess you think about it, right? So compare IT with, I don't know, architecture, right? So 20 billion years ago, the first humans were sitting out in a field somewhere, and they said, okay, being out here in the elements is not a great idea. Maybe we should do like a structure or something. And so the two cavemen tried to figure out how to build the first house. And so they said, well, maybe we could do it round, and that kind of didn't work. And maybe they said, well, what about 75-degree angles? And eventually they realized that the right angle was a really good idea. It was sort of functional. It worked very well. It was easy to replicate. And so the right angle became a foundation of all of architecture and building structures. To this day, you look at architects and the things that they learn, you have to learn LEED certification now, and you have to learn new approaches to how you build the right angle. But at the end of the day, it's all still the right angle whenever you're building structures. And it's the same way in IT. So we've discovered that the right angle works in IT also, but we've been slowly evolving the approaches towards how we solve the specific problems over time. The other kind of, I guess, focus to that is that if you're an IT professional and you're in the field and your head's down and working on anything, think about how long it takes to get stuff done. Right? If you want to go and implement a VMware cluster of 16 hosts, how much time does that take? You've got to go spec it. You've got to go prove that you need it. You've got to go buy it. You've got to go put it in the rack. You've got to go set it up. And so the process can take months and months and months and months, where there's only this very narrow window of time that really relates to kind of what we're talking about here, which is the configuration and the architecture pieces. So IT is it's a big task, where the technical pieces of it are kind of relatively small tasks. And it's those narrow windows of configuration, architecture, and design that I think myself and other presenters and what Concentrated Technology is trying to help with.